Hi folks, thank you for watching You Can Do It. In this video, we're going to be installing a drainage ditch here with this perforated pipe that's 4-inch. We're going to do a 55-foot long trench here. We're trying to get the storm water, whenever it rains, it pools up right out here in the front of the house. We're going to try to get that out to the front of the street there and get it away from the foundation. So stay tuned, we're going to show you how you can do it. So we're going to be installing a drain box right here in this area here. As you can see, I laid out a string line here, and in order to get the straight lines here, I used a string line. I got it installed to the stake here, just wrapped it around it, and I have another stake all the way down at the end down there, and I just took some spray paint, marking paint, and I followed over the string to make a nice straight line. So now I'm going to jump over here about 16 inches and install 2 more stakes, and then install the string on the stake and then spray paint it. So I've got a perfect 2 straight lines to dig from. It's kind of a reference point when I'm digging, so I'm not going to the left or the right. I got a nice straight trench. Plus the width will be about 16 inches. And I did use a laser. As you can see, I have it set up there to shoot grade, to figure out where this area is here that I'm at, and then down there that I've got some fall to the trench. It's natural fall. As I'm digging, there is a hump in this yard right here. You really can't see it on the video, but I'm gonna run all the way down this direction to the stake, and then I'm gonna cut over towards the street, and there's kind of a valley over there. You really can't see it in this video, but I'm gonna go right into that little valley out there, and then just have the pipe drain out. There's a drainage ditch over there. So we're trying to get the water away from the foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this other stake, set the string line, spray paint it, and start digging. So the trench is dug. I've got it down 16 inches. It's a lot deeper as it tapers down and gets down to the end. So this is going to be the trench. It's going to have the perforated pipe in it. We're going to put some gravel in here. I'm going to put a soil separator in here. It's like a fabric that doesn't allow a lot of the mud and the clay to get infested into the gravel, and then just it basically causes major issues. So we're going to put a soil separator in here. I did put the D box in here to kind of get an idea. I shot grade with the laser to figure out if I dug down enough down here at the end. Now, when we lay the pipe in here, we need to have a 1/4 inch per foot on the fall on the pipe. I'm going to show you how to achieve that with a 2-foot level, and making sure that you have 2 foot, or actually a 1/4 inch per foot of drop on the pipe. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But I'm going to get the soil separator, the fabric, and I'm going to lay it out in the trench, and then start getting the pipe put together and see where we're at on our fall in the trench before we put gravel in. Before I get started here, I kind of simulated a pipe right here. I wanted to show you an easy way for you to achieve your 1/4 inch per foot. So I've got a 2-foot level here. It's a 2-foot level, as you can see, 2 foot, and I'm going to take this block right here, which is a 1/2 inch thick. So 1/4 inch equals 1/2 inch. I'm going to tape this to the end of the tape measure with some black tape. So if I was to put this level on the pipe right now, I've got it at a 1/4 inch fall. Let me show you what that looks like up close. Now you could either just go off the bubble the way it is, or if you want to know for sure that you've got adequate 1/4 inch per foot, this 1/2 inch block on a 2-foot level, once I stick this underneath there, you'll notice that the level, well, the pipe needs to come up just a little bit, but it's pretty much spot on level. So if I take the level and stick it on the pipe as I'm going down the trench, as long as the level, the bubble is in the level in between the two lines, then I'll be good all the way to the end, as long as this block is underneath the level. So I'm going to tape that to the level so that I can achieve my 1/4 inch per foot fall all the way to the end of the trench. So I've got my drain box here. This is the beginning of the trench, set about a eighth inch below the grade. So any water that pools up in this area right here will go into the drain box, and then the excess will go into the French drain. I'm going to tie this gutter in right here, this downspout, into the D box so that the water will drain all the way down. I do have to cut a trench at the end all the way towards the street. This is going to drain the water away from the foundation, because it keeps going underneath the deck here and underneath this foundation over here. So we want it to stay in this trench and not get over into here. So I'm going to take this drain box out, and then I'm going to use this soil separator, this fabric right here. It's a separator. So basically it separates the fabric separates the gravel and the soil. So when you backfill, so basically you can kind of see right here in the picture, not sure if you can see that, I'll take the plastic off. It's just so the soil doesn't get down into the gravel and just contaminate it. So I'm going to go ahead and install that now. So I've laid the fabric down on the ground. As you can see, I had to kind of secure it on the sides of the trench so it doesn't just fall in, collapse in on itself. It may be a little bit of a challenge. It may require 2 people to kind of hold it, and as you put the pipe in and the gravel around it, so it just doesn't all collapse down on the bottom of the trench. Because what we're trying to do is create a kind of a wrap around the gravel to separate the soil from the gravel. Now, when I go to lay this pipe in, the perforated holes, as you can see here, the holes, you don't want them to be up on the top here. You don't want them to be on the top. You want to roll the pipe to where the holes are down on the bottom of the pipe. I'll show you more closely here as we get to laying the pipe, but you want it to kind of lay flat and to where the holes, you got a set of holes here and a set of holes here going down. Yeah, let me see if I can rotate this better. So that's kind of how you want it to set when it's on the ground. Because if you flip the holes up, the trench would have to fill up with water in order for the water to actually reach these holes. So you want it down here on the bottom. You can do more research on that on the internet, but this is how you want it to be installed when you put the pipe in. I ended up going with some insulation rods. I cut them in about 6-inch sizes, and I got them kind of secured in here. I pinned up the fabric on the outside of the trench so it wouldn't fall in. So when I go to put the gravel in, I made sure that the fabric is laying flat on the ground, so when I go to put the gravel in, it doesn't just like stretch out. So I've got it in, I got it secured, probably about 20 feet. And then as I move down and I check my pipe for 1/4 inch fall as I put gravel in, I'll just move these rods down to secure the fabric on the outside. So I've got the D box here, it's all leveled up, and I'm gonna go ahead and start putting in some gravel in the trench slowly, and I'll start filling it up over the top of the pipe. So I'm down probably in the middle of the trench, and I'm going to be installing this drain right here in this pipe here. I'm going to be cutting a T in. I'm going to install it right here with a riser. It just connects to 4-inch pipe. I'm going to bring this thing up about an 1/8 inch down from the grade. It does have a nice screen in there so leaves and bark and stuff won't go down into the pipe. This is another spot where the water pools up right here. So just for a fast collection of water, I'm going to install this right here at this point. I'm using a Sawzall with about a 12-inch Milwaukee. It's called a torch blade. I'll put all the materials down in the description box below, so if you want to order anything, you can find it real easy. So let's get started. Clean the edges up. Now I noticed that the writing on the top of this pipe, it's made by JM Eagle. If you keep the writing dead center on the top of the pipe, your holes will line up perfect on the bottom. So when I bring this pipe in, it'll line up just perfect. The holes won't be kind of cockeyed and you'll mess everything up. So I usually put glue on both ends of the pipe. It just makes it go in easier. Right there. All right. We'll go ahead and cut a riser. I'm going to use solid pipe for this riser coming up. I'm just going to get a tape measure and hold it, get a level or a straight edge, put across here and kind of get an idea of what that section of pipe is going to be, the measurement. This is what it's looking like here. I got that riser installed, and I just installed another one down at the end of where the ditch is, and I'm going to be tying in my gutter downspouts to this drain system. So I'm going to continue to install gravel in here to get all the way down, probably about 5 feet away from the end of the trench. Okay, so I'm down to the about 5 feet to the end of the trench, and as you can see, I stopped the gravel. I'm going to go ahead and continue over here around that bush right there and pick up the downspout. I'm going to dig a trench over there, and then where I've got this spray painted here, it's going to go out to the street, and I'm going to keep my fall heading out. It's kind of the lowest part of the front of the house, so I can drain all the excess water to the front of the street to a ditch, and I'll turn around and show you that. So here's the spray painted lines that I have. That's my trench going out to the street here, and it kind of slopes down. You can't really see it from here, but that's a low spot. Once I get over that hump and I get the pipe to kind of pop out over there by the street, the water will drain nicely down to that trench there. It's kind of a little valley. So I'm going to go ahead and start digging this trench. All right, I'm down here at the street view. I've got this other trench tied in to the trench that runs parallel with the house. I lined it with the fabric, the soil separator fabric, and I got the pipe in there. I did change the grade on this pipe. I went to an 1/8 inch per foot on the fall. If I would have stayed and remained at a 1/4 inch, it was going to put this drain box way below grade, so it just wasn't going to work. So I would recommend to shoot grade wherever you're going to be putting your D boxes. Just make sure by the time you get down, there is a calculator on the internet where you can determine which grade you need depending on the footage that you're going with, and I'll have that in the description box. So I've got this set, I got the pipe set, and I'm going to head on over here to the upper part where I got the beginning of the D box. I'm going to put a hose in it, and I should get water coming out of this box right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Here we go. I'll just stick it in here a little ways. That's about all I need. I'll go ahead and turn it on. So we're all the way down here at the other end. I got this trench here filled up with gravel all the way to the top. But we'll go ahead and turn on the water and go down to the other end. And there we go. Starting to get some water coming out down here at the other end. So I'm sure it'll speed up here. But that's a good sign. This natural ditch right here, this is where the water is going to drain. I did create a square, well, I dug this hole out here and made it square. I'm going to fill this in with gravel. So when the water comes up out of this grate, and I'm going to stick this guy here on the end of the pipe, and then I'll put the fabric around it so mud won't collect around it. I'm going to fill it up with gravel all the way up to the top of that grate right there. And then I'll go ahead and start filling in, graveling over the top of the pipe and getting ready for dirt. Trench is filled with gravel. I put a bag over this grate down here at the street just so I wouldn't fill up my pipe with gravel, but I've got it graveled. The felt doesn't quite overlap each other, so I'm going to cut some felt and drop it in over the rock, on top of the rock, just so the dirt doesn't just contaminate all of the rock. That's what this fabric's supposed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and run that all the way down the trench, and then I'll start putting dirt in there. I got the fabric in the trench. I kind of laid it in there nice and even all the way down, and I put some dirt on top of it here and there, a couple shovelfuls of dirt just to keep it from moving on me. The wind started blowing and it was like a kite, kept wanting to fly around. So I just worked my way all the way down, and I've got this section here done. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of a lift of dirt in here because I got my grass over on this side, and it's about 3 to 4 inches thick. So I'm going to just take my grass clumps and just stick it right back in the trench here, and hopefully within about, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, you probably won't even see that there was a trench here. I'm going to kind of compact this dirt down, so when someone drives over it with a lawn tractor, it's not going to have a big divot. See right here, I started putting the grass back in there. I left it just a slightly high, the dirt, just so the grass can settle down in, just so there isn't a sinkhole there. But I'm going to go ahead and continue down this stretch of trench, laying the grass, and then I'm going to water it. Watered it down. As you can see, I got a wheelbarrow on the left side and a lot of dirt to move on the right side of the trench. So I'm going to be removing all that dirt off the lawn and taking it to the backyard. As you can see, I've done all this by hand. I'm not using equipment, mainly because there was some utilities out here. I just didn't want to hit anything, but I didn't want to also tear up the lawn as well. Just hauling off all the dirt, got it all cleaned up. And so one last time, I just put the hose in here. Still got to hook up this downspout to the D box, but I've got the hose running in here. I've had it running for, maybe an hour. And so I'm going to go down and see at the very end, see what's going on down there. I made a pit stop here in the middle. I'm going to take this off just to see if I've got water running down there. And you can see it. It's trickling on through this drain box here. So I'm going to go down to the end and see, like I said, see what's going on down there at the gravel pit that I've designed. Well, here we are. You can see it's full of water. The water's coming up out of the top of this drain grate, plus the green one that's buried. I got it buried down here. So it's dry on this side, and the water's running down this trench here next to the road. You can kind of see it has a natural fall to it. It's just trickling through the grass. So it's working exactly the way I wanted it to, and I'm quite pleased with it. Trimmed out all of my grates here. So I put some rock around the outside perimeter just to kind of keep the grass from falling in. That may be something you want to do. Some of that fabric that goes into the trench, because it's almost like a filter. As you can see down here in the bottom, there's another grate that keeps this from falling through. So I just put it in here. Since there is a grate and I can't reach down in there to pull gravel out, as you can see, I just went ahead and took this fabric, cut a few pieces, and stuck it in there, and I tested it with the hose. I'll just show you what happens when you turn the hose on. But if gravel comes in here or leaves, I could just pull this off, pull the filter out, clean it, and put it back in. But it seems to drain really good. So let me turn on the water for you and show you. So that's on full blast, and it's not filling up and coming over the outer edge. It's draining nice and easy. So obviously, I'm sure if there's a downpour, I mean, there may be a lot more water coming in here than what this hose can produce, but I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'll test it out and see, so I don't plug the drains. It's the only thing about these risers here versus a D box. You can really get down in there and clean it out. So I'm going to go ahead and move on over to the downspouts. I got some downspout extenders, and I'll show you what those look like. So in order to transition from this 4-inch rectangular downspout to my circular 4-inch pipe, I'm going to transition with this adapter here. It is a flex grate downspout filter. So it has an open area here with the filter. So if leaves or anything come down through here, it's not going to go down into the pipe system. It's going to collect here, and I should be able to clean it out. So never used one before, but it'll fit on either 3-inch or 4-inch downspouts. So it's got this adapter in here, and I'm not going to be using this piece. So I'm going to take this piece out. Should just pop right out of here. Yeah, so this is a reducer. So this is what I'm going to be using, just like this. And it has some holes here where you screw right in to your downspout. So I'm going to go ahead and install this on there. And then I'm going to stick the hose up in the gutter. I left a few leaves up in the gutter. I want to simulate and just see how well this thing works before a storm. That'll probably work. All right. Let's go ahead and screw that into place. Downspout adapter is fastened. I'm going to go ahead and run some water down the gutter and simulate maybe a storm. Let's see what happens when the leaves or stuff come down. There is some debris up there. I purposely didn't clean it out, so I just want to see what happens. Yikes. It seems to be working pretty good. All the big stuff is getting trapped on the screen. Any little stuff, though, goes down inside there, which probably is fine. I can clean it out at the D box at the end. So that's working pretty good. I will say there is a lot of water that splashes out. So if you're trying to collect all the water, it's not going to do that. So, but if you want to be able to clean the leaves out from this location, I would say it's probably a good setup. But I don't know what would happen if the grate was fully plugged with leaves, where everything else would go. If it would just start storming out right here, water would just come out right out the opening versus down the grate. So anyhow, that's the downspout that I installed. All right, I'm finished backfilling. Everything's set. I got the grate set and everything's finished. Pretty happy with the way it all turned out. I'm going to take you down to the very end. I got water running, and we'll just go down there and take a sneak peek and see how the water's flowing at the very end. Well, the water's running nice and easy heading on down this natural trench here. I don't know if it's a natural trench, but just the way they cut it in here next to the road. So the water's not going up that direction. It's coming down out of this square gravel pit that I designed. So this worked out really well. I'm really happy with it. I hope this video helped you so that you can make your own French drain and get the water away from your foundation. Thank you for watching. You can do it, and stay tuned for the next video.